welcome to the latest episode of my Knitting Creative Podcast. My name on Instagram is Orchid's Heart and I'm coming to you from Birmingham in England. Yeah, it is March. The sun has finally come and disappeared and come back, and it's quite cold. We did have a warm couple of days, glorious. I spent all the time outside with family, friends and baby, but it's gone cold again. So I am wearing my sweater number 9 light, which was knit in a farm yarn I bought when I was at Rhinebeck, and it's worn quite badly. It's very bobbly. I'll put in the description box what it was. I have like de-pilled it a few times. I think it's just one of those jumpers. I mean, I do absolutely live in it because it's next to Skin Soft. I wore it a lot when I was pregnant because I knit it whilst I was pregnant, actually, oversized to accommodate the bump, because it's got like a split hem, which I don't think was in the pattern. I think I added that, yeah, it was quite cozy whilst pregnant, and I know it wouldn't irritate the baby either when he came out. But yeah, I'll put in the description box what the yarn is. I'm going to at some point buy one of those electric de-pillers. I just haven't gotten around to it yet because it's not a priority. I'm looking a bit didn't even get through the introduction and baby's woken up. To check it's not like a momentary peep. No, he's up. I was going to say, if I look a bit like this, it's because I constructed a massive playpen for him this morning, which the tripod is in, and I am right up against the fence with all of my projects I'm going to share on the playpen edge. But it looks like I have to go pick him up, so I will pick up after this introduction a bit later. I'm back, and it's about 5 hours later. Oh, anyway, where did I leave off? I think I just said hello and introduced myself. So I'm back. We've been for a walk, we've been for a play, we went on the swings for the first time. And now I have a bit of a precarious situation with an external power bank balanced on the edge of the playpen. And had plugged into the phone on the tripod. This playpen's becoming quite handy already. So yes, let's dig in because I've only got half an hour filming time on the phone, and who knows how long he's asleep for. So I have quite a lot of sewing to share with you guys today. I think I have 2 finished objects. I'm actually not sure if one of them was finished last time or not. One of them's definitely finished. I have a new whip and 3 sewing projects and some fabric to share. So quite busy. My last video was a sewing plans for 2025. Spoiler alert, I've done most of it already. But yeah, so... And I might share with you some dyeing. I don't know, that might have to be a case of a talk about it and just stick some photos on screen. So yeah, the finished object, where I'm not sure whether I had actually finished it or not last time, is my pressed flowers kerchief. So apologies if I did share it last time, but I think I was about halfway through, like a little bit way through. And so I believe this is the Harvest Hues Worsted in the russet colour. And then it was some mystery alpaca laceweight and 4-ply undyed Welsh wool. I think I shared all the details of the yarns and the colours and everything last time. So the alpaca laceweight gives it a bit of fluff, and the Harvest Hues Worsted main colour, sort of russet, is a John Arbon yarn, and so that's dyed in the fibre. So there's actually quite a few different colours in there. And yeah, it's really nice. I did 1 extra repeat before then decreasing. I think I would like another extra repeat because it only just ties up. And it's a bit bulky. It's not meant to be like a worsted weight pattern, so perhaps it would have been better if I did DK like it was meant to be. But I think it might be better more with like a pin situation. I'm not sure, but you know, it's very pretty. I haven't worn it that much. I did wear it out the other day and I got a compliment. Yeah, it was just one of those knits I wanted to just do and get out of my system, and I did, so I enjoyed it. But my main finished object, brace yourself, is finally done. Is this mammoth project that has taken me, I think, over a year. If not, it was just a year. Sorry, just listening out for baby because he's asleep. This is a heavily modified Ovis Sweater by Petite Knit. It is a pullover pattern with a colourwork yoke only, and I have changed quite a lot. So trying to remember everything I changed. I knit this mostly from stash scraps. Definitely did not have enough yarn to knit it as designed. And I knew that I wanted to make it a cardigan because the idea was, when I started knitting this was when I was pregnant, and I knew that cardigans would be useful. I'm now 7 months into having him. So it's a shame because I wanted to wear it last autumn. But it's done. So I wanted to add a steek column so that I could do it as a cardigan, and I couldn't work out in my head how to do the short rows as per the pattern with the steek column. So I didn't do the short rows until after the colourwork yoke, so I could see how that all sort of planned out and manifest itself. So that was the first thing. I did my own short rows. I basically just kind of made it up. I did the colourwork chart with, I think it was 3 extra stitches in the middle for the steek. I then knit the sleeves, and if you remember, I knit the sleeves on a needle size too big because I never sized up my needle size after doing the collar. So this whole thing is knit on the smallest needle size. And so I had to re-knit the sleeves. And it was obvious I was not going to have enough yarn, even with some extra colourwork sections. So the sleeves are 3/4 length. They did balloon still quite a lot, even when I went down a needle size, so I'm not sure what that's about. And then I did a bit of colourwork on the cuff, and this is actually a different brown yarn to this in an attempt to extend the sleeve just a little bit. And then I did this corrugated rib cuff. So it's a 3/4 sleeve. And then because it looked like I wasn't going to have enough yarn to do the body, I also did a bit of colourwork at the bottom. And this cream is actually from my advent calendar. It's a Raw Wool Company 4-ply. And I'm using, it was 100 gram skein, and I didn't use very much. My intention was I was going to do a lot more colourwork before doing the ribbing. But it was long enough after that, once I factored in the ribbing. So I'm actually using the rest anyway to do a colourwork hat, but I don't have all the yarn I need for that yet. So I added that section on the bottom and then did some ribbing, and then I steeked it. So it's almost finished. I cut it open, I did the button bands, and I've done the ribbon on one side, not the other. So I've still got one ribbon to sew in, which is actually something I really struggle doing neatly. I'll show you. I mean, it's good enough. So that's one side. You can see the colourwork inside. And then I've just got to do the other side. So I am, broadly speaking, happy enough with this. I ran out of black yarn, so I am annoyed that the left button band is grey rather than black, because I don't think it looks very good against the brown, because there is the grey in it, but the grey never touches the brown. So I don't like that. I wish that was black, because I think the black ties the edges in much nicer. I don't really like the way the sleeves turned out. I don't think that the shape really suits the cardigan. But it looks fine on, you know, it looks good enough. I'll try and take a photo of me wearing it and put it on screen so you can see it on. It is an okay length. I think maybe it was a tad longer than I normally would wear, but maybe that is good for jeans and things like that. I think it's a very wearable item, and I think it'd be quite warm and cozy, and it used up all of the, pretty much all of the black, the grey, the brown, all of this cream, and nearly all of the green. So it did a really good job of using up scraps, and it really used my brain. So I'm really glad it's finished, and I think I will wear it a lot. The only thing is that part of the cuff is this wool, so I know that part is going to bobble a lot, which is a bit of a pain, because the rest of it is really rustic, so I don't think the rest of it will. But you know, it is what it is. So that is my really big finished object, and I'm really looking forward to taking photos of it and wearing it, because I think it needs to be enjoyed. I'm glad it's done. So yes, hopefully I've put a photo of me wearing it so you can see it a bit better. And I'm just going to check this is still recording. Yeah, yes it is. So then I have one new whip, which is actually nearly finished. It will be finished probably by the time I even edit this. So again, if it is finished by the time I edit this, I'll stick a photo in of it finished, and it will count as a finished object, because it's a baby knit, so it's not very big. And it's another baby Aosta by Knit Purl Girl. If you saw some of my previous videos, you will know that I've knit this a couple of times before. I have technically knit the first 3 sizes, and this is the 4th, so I think that's the 9 to 12 months maybe. But for some reason, because my gauge or the yarn I was using was all over the place, even though I knit, I think it was the 2nd size, the 3rd size, and then the 1st size, the 1st size being newborn, the newborn actually came out the biggest because it was knit in cotton and it really stretched out. I've never checked my gauge, but I think I'm off because everything comes out a bit bigger than it's meant to be. So this is meant to be the 9 to 12 month size, or the 6 to 9 months, I'm sorry, I can't remember, but I think it probably is for a 1-year-old, which is a shame because I was knitting it for him to wear to the Woolly Good Gathering next month, so I don't know whether he'll be wearing this or not. It looks quite big to me. I don't think he's this big, but you know, deceptive. This yarn is the BFL undyed, like the medium brown by West Yorkshire Spinners. I had bought some to make a hat for his granddad a couple of years ago, and I used the ball and I needed just a little bit more to finish the hat, and it was a Christmas present, so I went and bought another ball just to use something like, I don't know, 5 grams or something ridiculous. And so I needed about 200 grams to knit this. And so I bought another skein, although I think I am going to have quite a lot left after I finish the sleeve. I don't know, maybe there's enough to knit my matching hat, I'm not sure. But I don't know whether he'll be wearing this summer or next autumn or this coming spring. My perception of understanding sizing and like how much he's going to grow isn't that great. I don't think I have a really good understanding of when babies wear what and like how much he's going to grow, because from what I can gather comparing him to other babies, he was born a very normal size and then he grew very quickly and got quite big for his age, and now he's like tapering off, because for a while he looked a lot bigger, he looked a lot older than he was. I mean, his hair, he's got really good hair, doesn't help, that does make him look older. But I think now he's becoming more weight comparable to other babies his age. So it might be that his growth is kind of evened out. Because to start with, people kept asking me, was he really big when he was born? I was like, no, actually, he was very normal. He just seemed to grow at an alarming speed. I thought it was normal, but it didn't turn out that he did. He was on the 95th percentile at one point. I don't think he is anymore. So yeah, I don't know when he'll be wearing that. I don't know in that case what I'm going to put him in for the Woolly Good Gathering. I feel like he needs a good outfit, and I'll be letting him down if he hasn't got a good outfit. So it's in a month. If I finish this week and it looks massively too big, then I might have to knit him something else. I'm also really tempted to make him some trousers and some leftover fabric from something I'm going to show you in a minute. But I don't know. Would that be, as they say, too extra to make him some trousers and a hand knit jumper just to go to a knitting festival for a few hours? We shall see. We shall see how I'm feeling, because I am definitely in the mood of piling too many jobs onto myself at the moment. So that is kind of like a whistle-stop tour of the knitting I'm doing at the moment. So that was the Baby Aosta by the Knit Purl Girl. If you need to knit for an infant, I think it's a really lovely pattern. It's DK weight. I think it knits up quite quickly. I think it's really enjoyable. The texture is really easy. It is mostly knitting. There's not very many pearls in. There's a little bit of knitting it flat before you join in the round for the button placket. I find it really easy to dress them in because the button placket is fairly deep. I've done like a stripy one. I've done one without texture. I've done one with texture. I think you could do a scrappy one. You could hold 2 strands of 4-ply together and do a mild one, which I might do at some point. I think that would look really nice without the texture, actually, and just knitting it plain mild. I really like it. The only thing you can't really do, because you're knitting flat, you can't do like the button placket a different colour to the neckband and the first part of the jumper, so the stripes kind of have to start after the placket, if that makes sense. And if that is interesting to you, there is a photo on my Instagram page of the ones I've knit so far, and you can see on there that I started the stripes like about here. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. I'm doubting myself now. Yeah, so anyway, my next 3 projects are sewing projects. This video might be a bit of a shorter video than I thought it was going to be, actually. But I really wanted to share with you my sewing, because I've been very busy sewing. I had a bit of a burst a couple of weeks ago. Actually, like pretty much right after I filmed my sewing plans. I then did them in about 10 days. But that was because I think I had Granny visiting, and then I went home to stay with my mum for a bit. I had like quite a lot of help over that period of 2 weeks. And he went through a burst of having mammoth afternoon naps, which I'm really hoping is what's happening right now, because I want to do some tidying after this. But who knows, I'm not going to hold my breath. And so with those really substantial afternoon naps, I did no tidying and no cleaning and lots of sewing. And so I started by finishing my Bilbo vest. So this is a pattern by Thread and Yarn, and I also made this out of leftovers. I've used a calico on the inside, and I have no idea whether this was from my stash or my mum's stash, because I quite often get given rejects from people, but it felt quite nice and soft for a calico. And this is leftover linen from Merchant & Mills. I made a hinterland dress with it a few years ago. It's one of my absolute favourite dresses, but I can't wear it at the moment because it doesn't have a front closure. And it wasn't really enough to make anything with it. I contemplated making some trousers for the baby from the leftovers, but that seemed a bit indulgent. I might have enough now to make a pair of trousers for him in a baby size. But again, I might save it for something else. And I made the bias binding, and then these are Corso buttons, also from Merchant Mills, which I actually did buy for a dark green cable knit cardigan a few years ago, but then when it came to putting the buttons on the cardigan, I'd lost the buttons and couldn't find them, and then they showed up after I put some other buttons on the cardigan. So yeah, and then the Shishiko thread. So pretty much I did have to buy some more of the thread, but everything else was from stash. And the batting that I've put inside is 100% wool batting, and it's left over from my quilt that I made. So a stash busting project. My only hack is that I made my shoulders a bit narrower, because I found that, and it is how it looks in the photos of her wearing it, it does come off her shoulders a bit. She obviously likes the way that looks on her. I didn't like the way it looked on me. I wanted it to come before my shoulder curved. So yeah, I love the way it feels. It feels like a really warm insulating layer, but I haven't yet really worked out what I want to wear it with. I've put it on a few times, but I haven't really been wearing the right outfit, I don't think, to wear it with. I have just got some of my clothes out from before I was pregnant, so I'm kind of going through my wardrobe a bit at the moment. After talking a little bit about not knowing what to do about having too many things in my wardrobe and not knowing what to get rid of and what to keep, I did go through and got rid of, or well, when I say got rid of, taken to the charity shop or put on Vinted, things that were from a long time ago when I was like, you know, early 20s, so like a decade ago, that just really don't speak to me at all, and I don't think there's any chance of me wearing it ever again. They've gone or are about to go. And then other things I wasn't too sure about maybe have gone away, and then I've got a to be sold pile. And then there are things I really love, but I just can't wear at the moment because of what I'm doing at the moment with the breastfeeding, and they've just gone to the back of the wardrobe. And so it's already feeling a lot freer in there. I can see a bit better what I've got, and I organised it. So yeah, the point is I'm trying out and pulling out quite a few different things at the moment and trying to work out how to wear things. So yeah, I think this will go with some stuff. I just haven't really decided what yet. So whilst we're talking about thread and yarn, I also made another one of her projects. So I mean, that was quite a speedy project. The worst bit was probably making the bias binding. And I will say my mum did help me in that. So I stitched down one side of the bias binding on the machine, and then my mum actually hand stitched it down on the inside. So I did have a little bit of help to speed things along. Just checking the power bank is still going. She also helped me with some hand stitching on another sewing project, which I'm going to share with you after this one, because she likes hand stitching and weaving in ends and I don't. And so as I was going to stay with her, I did store up a few of those kind of annoying jobs, because she keeps asking for creative like handwork things to do, but anything too complicated she can't really do anymore. So I thought, well, if she likes hand stitching, she can help me. I did ask if she minded and she didn't, so yeah. It did feel a little bit like a sweatshop though, because I was only there for 2 days and she did all this hand stitching for me. Well, I was only meant to be there for 2 days. She got ill and I had to look after her for a few days. So I was with her healthy for 2 days, and then I was looking after her. So, and no, I did not make her ill with all of my hand sewing. She unfortunately caught the flu, but she's okay now. So whilst I was there, looking after her, I did also cut out and start preparing to make this skirt, which is the Bramble skirt by Thread and Yarn. And this is a skirt tutorial rather than a pattern, available for free on her YouTube and website, or you can donate to her to support her work. And it talks you through how to make a skirt that fits you, the right proportions, the different options, about the tiers, and then she explains to you how to do pin tucks. And I've never done pin tucks before, so that I did learn something there, so thank you, Lorna. They weren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. I thought, who wants to do pin tucks on like that much fabric, because on a tiered skirt that is quite a lot. So I was dreading it. And so I will admit, Lorna, that I watched half your tutorial and then thought, I know how to do this, and did it. And then started putting it together and was thinking, how do I know how much to gather the top and bottom to join them together? And then I looked at her picture and realised that when you join the bottom tier to the top tier, they're not gathered on both sides of the seam. You gather the bottom to fit the top, and it's the gathering at the top that makes that gathered, if that makes sense. So I'd put gathering stitches in both pieces for no reason, it seemed. And so it's got inseam pockets as per her instructions, and I made it from this check cotton, very much inspired by her blue checked one, but in like a brown orangey blue combo. Again, I've only worn this once or twice because I don't normally wear blue. I know that my waistcoat is like a blue check combination, and so this is a blue check combination, and bizarrely my favourite coat is also a brown blue check combination. So something is telling me that I do need to wear more blue in my life, clearly. But it isn't something that I have often been drawn to, so I need to work out what I'm going to wear this with. I did show in my last video that I really enjoyed her kind of Little Women vibe of her picture, where she was wearing her Bilbo vest and her Bramble skirt, but I don't think these go. So basically I need to make another Bilbo vest that goes with this. Which will happen at some point, but I don't know when. Because my last sewing project that I haven't done on my video is actually quite an involved one, so that's going to slow me down a little bit. But yeah, this fabric was, I think, dead stock from my local fabric shop that was having a big sale. I actually really like the way it feels, and so I think I'm going to try and go into town and get some more before it closes down, providing it's not sold out, because I think I'd like to make some bob pants for work this autumn from it, because it wasn't very expensive between it being dead stock and the shop closing down. So I really need to hop on that actually and get my hands on some more. And this also, I think I've got a little bit left. I did also think about making him some trousers out of the little bit left of this, or even a Bilbo vest out of this, but I wouldn't want to wear a Bilbo vest made from the same fabric as this together. But perhaps, because the Bilbo vest is reversible, I could do one side in this and one side in something that goes with it. Could be a good combination. But yeah, so I think I did about 25% of the length, maybe 30 in the top tier, and then the rest on the bottom. I did quite a wide hem because I think that looks quite historical, especially with the pin tucks, an elastic waist as per, 2 inseam pockets, and that's it, and it feels really lovely. I don't normally use cotton that much. I normally do stick to linen because I really like the texture and the feel and the softness of linen as you wear it. But my gingham bob pants were made from some cotton from Bourne Textiles, and I absolutely love them. It's quite a thick cotton, a bit like this. And perhaps I'm a convert. Maybe I was buying the wrong kind of cotton before. I'm not sure if this kind of cotton has a particular name, but it does feel quite soft. So maybe I'm changing, maybe I'm becoming more flexible. I just find that I reliably quite like the texture and the feeling of linen, and sometimes I buy cottons and they just feel too flat and lifeless. But maybe I'm being really fussy. No, that's people outside, not my baby. Oh. I'm going to have to save the video and come back to you. I was about to run out of storage, so just as well I checked. I had to switch from saving to my phone to my SD card to get myself some more time. But yeah, so really enjoyed that skirt pattern. Really recommend both of the tutorial for the Bramble skirt and the sewing pattern for the waistcoat. They were both really, really good. And if you haven't sewn anything before, the skirt tutorial is quite good because she talks you through it and I think shows you all the steps. Again, like I said, I kind of skimmed through it because it's more designed for a beginner sewer or a novice. So quite a good thing. And if you donate some money to her, I believe on her website, you can download a information sheet with all the instructions so that you can refer to that rather than just relying on the video if you would like. So really good if you are a newer sewer, I think. But yes, but I mean the Bilbo vest is also quite a good beginner pattern because there isn't that much to it and you don't have to do buttonholes. You can do loops and buttons or poppers which you hammer in, or snaps which you hand sew on, like those options, or ties. Yeah, so that's actually quite a good beginner pattern as well. And so the last thing that I sewed, which was actually the first thing that I finished, I think I said in my last video that probably it would be the thing I'd end up sewing first because I just had a real bug in my bonnet about making it, was the Gingko Pinafore by Madswick. I don't know, it's not a company I've ever come across before. I believe it's a new pattern, and it is a reversible sort of flat panel thing that you tie around you so it looks like a dress. So I will have to stick photos in of me wearing it because you're not really going to be able to absorb what I'm showing you like this. But so this is untied at the moment. I made this from a linen bedsheet which I dyed using a Dylon pod. let me actually get the other thing I dyed. This playpen is becoming very useful. I, however, did just stub my toe on it. Yeah, apologies if this video is slightly chaos. So I had a couple of things in my wardrobe that I wasn't wearing because I didn't like the colour. And I also had a couple of king size linen fitted sheets which I bought in a massive sale from M&S. I think I shared this last time, and I decided to do some dyeing. So this was one of the things I dyed. This is my Nini culottes I made when I was at the end of my pregnancy. So they are in my mending pile because although they now fit me on my hips, they are a bit, when I put my phone in my pocket, it does sort of drag it down a bit too much. And so they came out this lovely green. Only thing is you can see the thread because the thread is orange, but it doesn't stand out that much. So I'm not too worried. And I really like the colour. I also dyed my Winslow culottes and they've come out the same colour. So I'll try and stick in a photo of that. Dust, I think that is dust. So there's a funny mark on them. I think it's dust because it's come off. But I wanted to compare the colour because they went in the same wash with the same dye and they were both different shades of orange. This was like a pale orange and this was like a really bright orange, and these are the two colours I've got. I love both colours and I really enjoyed that they were actually different colours. This colour, this kind of old gold colour, I absolutely adore. So I love this dress. The linen is really soft, like incredibly soft. I mean, for a bedsheet it would actually be glorious. And oh dear, some of my hand stitching's actually come undone. How did that happen? I have worn it a lot. The baby's been tugging at it as well, so I'm going to have to do some mending already. Maybe I should grab a pin, being that my pincushion's right here. I think baby's up. Yeah. I've only got a little bit left to talk about, so I'm going to go ahead and just do the last couple of minutes with them on my lap. I hope that's okay. You alright? Just had a little sleepy? Yeah. A little sleepy. So I'll stick a photo on the screen instead of the dress. Maybe a couple, if I've got a couple. I think my friend did take some the other day whilst we were out. So it's a really clever design where it's got two neckline options, so you can do both because, like I said, it's reversible, and you can have patch pockets and you can wear it in a couple of different ways. I do really recommend looking at the original pattern photos because hers probably show off the possibilities better than mine do. But I really liked the idea because I thought it would be useful for feeding because you can untie it and then it's like a tabard type thing. So I think personally, if I'm going to be doing that, I would only really want to be wearing it with leggings because otherwise, you know, you are showing everything underneath. So I think if I wasn't undoing it in public, then you can wear it without leggings because it does wrap all the way around the front, providing you tie it securely. But being that I'm undoing it quite a lot, I wear it over some quite decent leggings, and then I don't really worry about flashing my chest because I have to do that anyway to feed little one. So yeah, so you can wear it tied loosely at the sides, you can wear it tied at the front, tied at the back, You can wear it with, if you do make it with both the necks, you'd have like a square neck on one side and a V-neck on the other. And so trying to think of ways to make it as flexible as possible. Because the bodice is lined, I was like, great, this gives me the perfect opportunity to do something really jazzy on one side. And so I made a sawtooth quilt block and put that on one side of the pinafore. And I think I might have filmed some footage of me making this, so if I did, I'll pop that in. If I didn't, sorry, there isn't any, / if I run out of time to edit that in. But yeah, so it was a really fun make with my modification of doing the quilt block. It was quite involved. If you aren't doing that, then it is a really, really basic make. The only thing I would say is, because only the bodice is lined, if you did want to do a different colour on one side, then you need to bear in mind that your bodice would be a different colour to your skirt, because the skirt is only one layer. And maybe it'd be too bulky and stiff if you did a double layered skirt. I don't know. So if you wanted to have like a two-tone skirt top situation, you could do that. But I think it does really lend itself to having like some kind of applique situation on one side, or quilting, whatever, and then like a plain side as well. So if I want to wear like a jazzier cardigan or something quite plain on up top, then I have that option. If I want to wear something a little bit more folky, then I can have my quilt block side showing instead, which actually is the one I gravitate towards the most. And then I also put the patch pockets on, I think, because the quilt block is on the crew neck, on the square neck side, that meant that the other side of that was plain with no pockets. So that meant I had two plain V-neck bodice sides. So I put the patch pockets on one of those. So in theory I can have plain V-neck, no pockets, plain V-neck with patch pockets, plain square neck, and then the quilt block square neck. But it's mostly that side that I wear with the quilt block because I really like that. And I do think that the Bilbo vest would look really nice with one of the plainer sides. So yeah, really it does use a lot of fabric. I'm not really sure how much because I used a king size bed sheet. So if you looked up how big a fitted king size bed sheet is, then that would kind of give you an idea of how much fabric I used. I did have a bit left, but not a lot. But it is quite a full flat skirt. And also I think quite a good beginner friendly pattern, because though the bodice is made using the burrito method, which means that there's no raw edges, that's another thing actually. You don't need to use an overlocker because all of your seams are enclosed, so that's quite nice and quite beginner friendly. Yeah, I think it would be quite good. Yeah, so lots of sewing. Really happy with all of the projects. Are you? Someone needs another haircut. But anyway, so the last thing I wanted to share was some fabric I actually thrifted. So it's a patchwork piece of fabric from Merchant & Mills. Like it's pre-patched together. And I am contemplating... Oh, we've lost our toy. Ooh. I'm contemplating making a A-line gathered skirt with it, but I don't know if it'd be too much. I had thought about making cushion covers or like interior furnishings from it, like accessories. I have enough with the scraps that came with it that I could make some patch pockets, so I could really make the skirt without cutting into the fabric very much because it's like a big rectangle. So I could just attach a waistband at the top and then use these scraps to make the patch pockets. And so I could make the skirt and have it for a little while and then decide in the future if I did want to make cushion covers and stuff with it instead. Only because we are refurbing a house at the moment which we won't be living in for quite a while, and I did think that I might quite like to make cushions from it for my future sewing room, because this one has quite a retro vibe, and I'm thinking for my next craft room I'd quite like a more earthy, natural, relaxing vibe. Of course my taste might change again in a couple of years, and so they might work, they might not, I don't know. But yeah, kind of musing that. I did think about making a Bilbo vest, but I think it might be a bit too much for me to have a patchwork Bilbo vest, because I would quite like one with a quilt block on the back. That could happen at some point. Anyway, that's all I'm going to share today, because little one's now up and we need to hang out and tidy up our mess and enjoy our new playpen, don't you think? And yeah, so I will chat to you guys soon. Hopefully this wasn't too chaos. And yeah, maybe my next video will be like more of a vlog like before. I don't really know, so we shall see. So goodbye from both of us, and yeah, if you want to find me on other places, Instagram, etc., everything's below. My Ko-fi is below. Yeah, and to anyone who supports the channel, thank you very much as always. It's always appreciated. And if you are going to Woolly Good Gathering, feel free to come up to us. We will probably be with Granny, because she's going to help me look after Babe. I will be very shy and awkward, but do come and say hi. And yeah, hopefully you will have fun, and I hope we will have fun too, and it won't be too much for little one. So goodbye from both of us. And no, I did not knit this one. This one was a thrifted knit. So yeah, cheating a bit there. So goodbye and talk soon.